Lesson 2, Unit 3. Schedule analysis. The next step is to analyze the project schedule and examine the sequence and duration of activities, the assigned resources, and scheduling constraints. The goal of this step is to validate that the project schedule can be used to implement the project. You will need to validate that the duration estimates are accurate and that the resource allocations are correct. If the initial version of the schedule shows a project that will take longer than initially agreed in the project proposal, you will need to make changes. There are 5 tools and techniques you can use to analyze the schedule: resource leveling, network diagram, critical path analysis, what-if scenarios, schedule compression, and the Gantt chart. Resource leveling is a project management technique used to examine the unbalanced use of human resources over the life of the project. It is used for resolving overallocations, underallocations, or allocation conflicts, with the goal to allocate each resource to no more than its maximum time available to the project. The goal is to distribute as evenly as possible the work effort to all people involved in the project. The network diagram is a graphical representation of the sequence of project activities and the dependencies amongst them. It shows how all activities are connected and the type of relationships, such as predecessors and successors. For example, activity 3 cannot begin until both activities 1 and 2 have been completed. All activities identified in the WBS should belong to a path. Each path will have a total duration, which is the sum of the duration of each activity in the path. Among these paths, the most important is the critical path. The critical path is the path in the network diagram with the longest total duration. Activities on the critical path cannot be delayed, or the whole project will be delayed unless the loss of time can be offset somewhere else on the critical path. In the chart, the critical path contains activities that in total add up to 125 days. The critical path is, in essence, the shortest time in which a project can be completed. If you need to shorten the duration of a project, you will need to make changes to the duration of activities in the critical path. What-if scenario analysis. This is a method that compares and measures the effects of different scenarios on the project. The use of simulation helps determine the effects of various conditions, such as resources not being available on time or delays in other areas of the project. You can develop various scenarios to determine which one will result in a shorter time to complete the project. This can be done with scheduling software such as Microsoft Project. Schedule compression. This technique helps reduce the total duration of a project by decreasing the time assigned for certain activities. This is done in a way that maintains the time constraints and the original scope of the project. The project manager can use 2 methods. Fast tracking is rearranging activities to allow more parallel work, but increases risk. Crashing is adding more resources to an activity to reduce the time to complete it, but increases cost. The application of these techniques is useful when the first draft of your schedule shows that the time to complete the project will take longer than expected, or when the donor is asking to shorten the duration of the project. A Gantt chart is a popular method to show that the project duration and dependencies on all activities. It can help identify the start and end of an activity, the type of relationships, the project calendar, and the sequence of all the work. It can help in the analysis and the development of changes to reduce the duration of the project, and is used to monitor the progress of the project over time. This example was developed using Microsoft Project. The first column shows the name of the activity, then the duration of the activity, and a chart for the bars representing the duration of each activity, and the arrows that shows their dependencies. The black bars are used to represent the grouping of activities. In this case, they represent the outputs, the outcomes, and the project final goal. Once all changes and modifications have been made, it's important to make a final review to ensure nothing is missing or there are no serious conflicts with the project schedule and the expectations from key stakeholders. Once the schedule is ready, it will be approved and distributed to all the people involved with completing the work in the project. They will use it to plan their work and monitor the progress they make.